Strongest technique of the Akatsuki members. The Akatsuki is a group of criminals, consisting of less than 10 members, who have committed major crimes in their respective villages or countries. They generally operate in two-man cells, and the Akatsuki leader believes that when two members are together, they are even capable of defeating tailed beasts. Each member of the Akatsuki has their own unique characteristics, and a commonality among them is their high combat ability. All Akatsuki members have high combat ability, which is one of the reasons for their popularity. Behind this high combat ability lies the existence of powerful techniques. The Akatsuki is a gathering of shinobi with unique and powerful techniques. I've put together a list of 10 techniques that I feel are particularly strong among them. Without further ado, let's get started. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so by clicking the button. Number 10. In 10th place is explosive clay. Explosive clay is a technique used by Deidara. This technique is one of the forbidden techniques of the Hidden Stone Village, where clay is fed to the mouths on Deidara's palms, mixed with chakra, and turned into explosive clay. The shapes of the clay are often based on living creatures, such as insects, fish, and birds, and vary greatly. Deidara also fights using 5 types of explosive clay, C1 to C4 and C0. The main feature of this technique is its versatility. Since explosive clay can create various creatures, it can be used to create ones that suit the user's purpose. It is used not only for combat but also for infiltration and other purposes. Although it might be assumed that this long-range technique is weak at close range, that's not the case. In fact, Deidara often fights while riding a bird created from explosive clay. Therefore, if a close-range ninja constantly attacks him from a distance, they will be at a significant disadvantage. This technique is given an edge by long-range fighters. There are 2 main weaknesses to this technique. The first is running out of explosive clay. Since explosive clay is ultimately a consumable item, it will eventually run out with continuous use. Once this happens, the technique can no longer be activated. The second weakness is that the clay won't explode if it comes into contact with lightning release techniques. In the original series, this method was mainly used to deal with explosive clay. Number 9. In 9th place is Cursed Technique, Death Controlling Possessed Blood. This technique is used by Hidan, who hails from the Hidden Hot Water Village. With this technique, after absorbing the target's blood into his body, Hidan shares any injuries he sustains while standing within a circle drawn with his own blood. The activation conditions for this technique are having the target's blood and standing inside the circle. The technique won't activate unless these conditions are met. But once activated, victory is almost guaranteed. The opponent will be helplessly tortured to death by Hidan. One of the strengths of this technique is not only its powerful effect, but also the fact that information about the technique is not public, due to Hidan's origin from the Hidden Hot Water Village. Therefore, it's difficult for first-time opponents to analyze the technique, and the lack of information about the technique greatly contributes to its activation. One weakness is the inability to collect blood from the target. It can be difficult to activate against genjutsu or long-range nin technique users. Number 8. In 8th place is Secret Technique, Earth Grudge Fear. This technique is used by Kakuzu from the Hidden Waterfall Village. It was originally one of the forbidden techniques of the Hidden Waterfall Village. This technique allows Kakuzu to grow countless black threads from his body, which he can use to extend his arms by dozens of meters or to stitch severed parts together. Furthermore, the signature feature of this technique is stealing the hearts of others and storing them as his own hearts. When Kakuzu stores a stolen heart, he becomes capable of handling its owner's nature transformations, allowing him to use all 5 nature transformations. In addition, he can also control masked monsters by providing them with hearts. This technique's strength lies in its versatility, with benefits in combat, recovery, adapting to situations with nature transformations, and numerical superiority through controlling monsters. The strong point of this technique is high versatility. The weakness of this technique is that it can only store up to 5 hearts. As a result, crushing his hearts will reduce his nature transformations and numerical advantage, leading to a decrease in power. Moreover, when hit by a powerful attack, multiple hearts can be lost at once. Number 7. In 7th place is Iron Sand World Method. This technique is used by Sasori from the Hidden Sand Village. Using magnetism, he spreads iron sand infused with poison over a wide area. The sharp and irregular shapes of the iron sand make it difficult to avoid the attack. The strength of this technique lies in its high offensive power. Its lethal capability comes from the sharp shapes, the wide area of control, and the deadly poison that causes fatal injuries even with slight contact. Even if the target only receives a scratch, the poison will eventually take their life as time passes. The weakness of this technique is that it is overly specialized in offense. It may be difficult to use in chaotic battles with allies or in supporting teammates. If such a situation arises, activating the technique becomes difficult, making it a technique that must be used selectively depending on the time and situation. Number 6. In 6th place is Water Prison Shark Dance Technique. This technique is used by Kisame from the Hidden Mist Village. In the original work, Kisame, fused with Samahata, deployed a dome-shaped water prison where he and his target engaged in combat. In his fused state with Samahata, Kisame can move at incredible speeds within the water prison and can supply oxygen through gill breathing. In contrast, the target's movements are slowed down by the water, and they must fight without being able to breathe. Additionally, since the water prison is centered around Kisame, it will move as he does. It is believed that there are no shinobi who can move faster than Kisame within this water prison, making escape virtually impossible from the start. The weakness of this technique is its lack of offensive and defensive power. It has difficulty dealing with highly oppressive techniques and lightning release ninjutsu. Number 5. In 5th place is Chibaku Tensei. This technique is used by Pain, Deva Realm, and Nagato. By creating a black sphere and releasing it into the sky, a gravitational force is generated, combining nearby objects with a powerful attraction. The characteristic of this technique is its wide range of effect. The generated gravity is stronger than Earth's gravity, leaving the target helpless and absorbed. The weakness of this technique is the destruction of the sphere. Due to the strong gravitational force, uncontrolled powerful techniques can be affected by the gravity and hit the sphere. In the original work, the sphere was destroyed by a powerful long-range ninjutsu, nullifying the technique. Number 4. In 4th place is Amaterasu. This technique is used by Itachi Uchiha from the Hidden Leaf Village. To activate this technique, the Mangekyo Sharingan must be awakened. And among its abilities, this is a technique that Itachi can use. This technique generates inextinguishable black flames from the location, reflected in the user's eyes. As a result, the target must avoid the flames as quick as lightning. Moreover, since the black smoke does not disappear, its momentum will not stop whether the target is using fire release or submerged in seawater. It is not an exaggeration to say that the majority of shinobi are left powerless and ultimately defeated by this technique. It is indeed a powerful technique. However, as Uchiha Itachi himself said, every technique has its weaknesses. Amaterasu cannot be used in rapid succession due to its high chakra consumption. Also, if the line of sight between the user and the target is obstructed, the technique cannot hit the target in front of a ninja who can manipulate objects. If the line of sight between themselves and the target is blocked, they will not be able to hit the target with Amaterasu. Number 3. The third-ranked technique is Shinra Tensei. The users of this technique are Pain, Deva Realm, and Nagato. By generating shockwaves from their own bodies, they can deflect techniques or blow away targets. There seems to be no designated range for the shockwaves, and the maximum range was enough to bring the Hidden Leaf Village to the brink of destruction. This technique has a good balance of offense and defense, making it a flawless technique. However, there is a drawback that the technique cannot be used for 5 seconds after activation. As a result, it cannot be used in rapid succession and cannot deal with time lag or continuous attacks. Also, when trying to blow away a target with Shinra Tensei, if the target withstands the shockwave, the user will be blown away by the recoil. Thus, it cannot blow away everything. Number 2. The second ranked technique is Kamui. This technique is used by Uchiha Obito. It is one of the abilities of the Mangekyo Sharingan and has the properties of a spacetime ninjutsu. Specifically, when a technique or object comes into contact with the user's body, the contacted part is sent into a different spacetime, nullifying the attack. Because it is superficially often thought as if the user has phased through the attack, only Kakashi was able to deduce the secret of the technique during battle. In addition to nullifying attacks, it can also trap targets that touch the user in the spacetime dimension. Once trapped, the target cannot escape the spacetime dimension on their own, resulting in their defeat on the spot. The ability to phase through objects can be used for up to 5 minutes, allowing for high offensive power and the ability to handle continuous attacks. However, there is a weakness when trapping an opponent in a spacetime dimension, or when transferring their entire body through spacetime. They cannot phase through their own body. Also, when physically attacking with taijutsu, their body exists as a solid entity. As a result, they were often targeted for counterattacks by their opponents. Number 1. The first ranked technique is Susanoo. The user of this technique is Uchiha Itachi. It is a technique that only manifests in a select few who have awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan. Upon activation, high-density chakra transforms into a giant-like shape, and the user is enveloped within it. It specializes in offensive and defensive power and is used throughout the original series, from its introduction to the end. Furthermore, it is a technique that contributed to the defeat of the final boss, Kaguya. The effects of Susanoo vary depending on the user, but in Itachi's case, it possesses abilities worthy of the title Strongest. These are the offensive-focused Totsuka Sword and the defensive-focused Yata Mirror. The Totsuka Sword can seal the target it pierces into an illusory world forever. The Yata Mirror can block or deflect ninjutsu attacks based on the nature of their weaknesses. In addition, there is the Yasaka no Magatama for long-range attacks, which also has the ability to cause a massive explosion upon contact. It is an incredibly powerful technique that can gain an advantage in any situation. At first glance, it may seem to have no weaknesses, but it does have some. One weakness is that it cannot deal with attacks originating from within Susanoo itself. Also, since it cannot block sound, it is unable to defend against auditory illusions or attacks. Conclusion. How was it? The techniques of the Akatsuki members are all powerful, making it difficult to compare them. In the original series, there was no scene where the members seriously fought against each other. But it would be interesting to see it happen. In any case, as these are all powerful techniques, the battles would be extremely fierce. That's it for today's video. If you're a fan of Naruto or found this channel interesting, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching the video until the end.